I love that little announcement. Do y'all hear that too? When she says this meeting is being recorded? Yeah, that's my favorite. All right, so let's start in a comfortable seated position. Wherever you're at today is perfectly fine, but sit with your legs crossed if you want, or you can sit back on your heels. You can have your legs in front of you. But wherever you're at, sit up nice and tall. Try to elongate through the spine. Close your eyes. Maybe start to draw some big circles with the shoulders. You can roll them up towards the ears and then back down the back a few times. And then you can just find a little bit of stillness, thinking about this little imaginary string pulling out through the crown of the head, making you nice and tall and long. And before we go into our meditation on courage today, I invite you just to get grounded into your surroundings. So think about where your body's touching the floor or the mat beneath you. Maybe just scanning your body, starting from the tips of the toes, traveling up through the ankles, the shins, the knees. Noticing places that feel energized and good, or places that feel tense or anxious. Just see where you're at today. Kind of a midpoint in the week, Wednesdays at noon. And as we think about courage today, we also have to keep in mind the virtue and the ethic of love, because courage really, from my understanding, finds its motivation, its power in love. And there's some words from the Dalai Lama that I want to share. He says, the more you are motivated by love, the more fearless and free your actions will be. The more you are motivated by love, the more fearless and free your actions will be. And so, of course, we'll be able to use that wisdom off the mat, but for just this next hour, think about using courage as a way to move throughout this practice. Maybe that means you try something new today. Maybe that means you put less judgment on yourself. That you stretch yourself to a new place. As you're ready, bow the head, bring the chin towards the chest. Feel that little stretch along the upper spine, through the neck. And then gently guiding that right ear towards the right shoulder. Exhale down through center. And then inhale over to the opposite side. Just go back and forth here a few times now. And then when you feel ready, you can come back to that neutral position. You can open your eyes. Let's take a big, deep breath, biggest one you've had all day. Reach the arms up overhead, stretch long and tall. Imagine you're trying to touch that ceiling. Great. Right hand behind the back, left hand to that right knee, and just look over the right shoulder. And when you do these twists, you're twisting from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. So think about twisting below and then turning that upper body. Inhale, lift through center, unwinding, arms lift. Exhale to the opposite side. Again, twisting from below to top. Inhale, reach and lengthen, arms back overhead. Exhale, right palm down, reach over with that left arm. So taking a side body stretch. Heart open towards the sky. Inhale, lift. And exhale to the opposite side. Back and forth a few times, just trying to open up through the rib cage. Inhale and exhale. Once more each side. As you're ready, inhale back through center. Exhale, switch the cross of the legs if you can without your hands, and then reach forward, hinge from the hips. Keep the hips grounded on the mat as you reach that chest forward. And then fingertips to the floor, forehead towards the floor. Reaching forward with the hands and pressing back with the hips. And then very slowly from here, we're just gonna crawl our hands up, coming back to that seated position, and we're gonna roll over into our hands and our knees, coming into a tabletop pose. Wrists underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips. Here, tops of the feet can be flat on the mat. From this position, make sure those fingers are spread nice and wide, and you're kind of pressing in the tops of the fingertips into the mat. So it's kind of like you're gripping the floor. Imagine there's this little suction cup underneath the palm. It's a really great form for any position like downward facing dog or tabletop or plank, because that gives a little bit of pressure off the wrists, and we want wrists working for us for a long time, right? So we're gonna drop the belly towards the floor. On our inhale, we're gonna look up towards the ceiling, tailbone lifts. Exhale, squeeze the core, you're drawing the belly button up towards the sky, drop the head, look between the legs. Inhale, we'll look back up. And exhale, round. So just going back and forth between these two postures, doing your best to warm up the spine. You can add on any types of movement that you'd like in these, swinging the hips back towards the heels, really whatever feels right. Great, from this position, let's come back to our neutral tabletop pose, and we're gonna bring that left leg behind us. I'm gonna have to scoot forward, the couch is in my way. Try to lift up that left leg, toes point down. Great, leg as parallel to the floor as you can make it. And then bring that right hand to the core and just feel the engagement right there. You want a nice tight core, and then reach that right arm forward, thumb points up. Great, inhale, reach and lengthen. On your exhale, you're coming back to that cat spine. You're gonna bring that elbow and knee to join. Great, inhale, extend. And then exhale, draw it in. Great job, few rounds here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, round. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach and lengthen and hold here. On our exhale, this is where it becomes a little bit more tricky. Right hand comes over towards the right side. Left leg comes over towards the left side. Great. Inhale, reach and lengthen back through center. Try to keep that leg parallel to the floor. Exhale, open up to the side. Inhale, reach and lengthen back through center. Last one, exhale, open out to the side and hold. Keep breathing, keep flexing that left foot. And then finally, you can place that left leg over to the side. You're planting that foot down, parallel to the long edge of the mat. And you're going to curl those right toes under. From this position, all we're going to do is start to lean that weight back some. Feeling a little bit of a stretch. Good. And then if that feels good, you can start to kind of draw some circles. So you'll lean that weight forward and then swing it all the way around. You might need to bend that left leg a little bit to do so. And you can reverse directions. Try not to focus too much on what it looks like. This is a really fluid movement. It looks a little bit different for each of us. And then we'll come back through center. Inhale, use the strength of the core. Lift that left leg back up. And then we're going to come into three-legged dog. So those right toes are still curled under. You're just going to lift up that right leg, and left leg comes up, three-legged dog. Great. Bend the left knee, stack the hips. Draw some big hip circles. And then as you're ready, come back to three-legged dog. Left leg comes back down, downward facing dog. Both knees come back down. Spread the knees out wide and come into child's pose. Hips back towards the heels, forehead towards the floor. Take a couple of breaths there, really reaching towards the top of the mat with the hands. And then as you're ready, inhale, come back through tabletop position. And then from this position, same thing we're doing on the opposite side. Right leg extends out back long, right toes point down. Do your best to keep your leg engaged here. So there's a lot of strength. You're not just kind of holding it back. There's a lot of engagement. So imagine your right heel pressing against the back of the wall behind you. And then left hand to the core. Make sure you have strength there. And then lift that left arm out front. Thumb points up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, elbow and knee meet. Great, it's a little crunch here. Inhale, extend. And exhale together. Back and forth a few times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, left hand over towards the left, right leg over towards the right. Now we're trying to get that right leg parallel to the floor. It might not happen. Inhale, reach and lengthen back through center. Use the core, use that right hip. Exhale, open. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, open. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Last time, exhale, open and hold. Really lift up that right leg. And then you can drop the right foot down towards the mat, left hand down towards the mat, curl those left toes under, and then sink the hips back. So you're just coming forward and sinking back. And then when and if you're ready, you can draw some hip circles. So you're kind of swinging over to the right. You can bend into that right knee and come all the way back around. Nice fluid motion. You can reverse directions of those circles. We'll come back through center. We'll lift up that right leg using that strength. Left toes are curled under. You're just straightening that left leg, coming up to three-legged dog. Right toes lift up. Great, and then right foot meets the left, downward facing dog. Look between the hands and walk the feet up, coming into our first forward facing fold. Release the upper body over the legs, shake out the head, and just sway back and forth. Kind of imagine you're like a little ragdoll here. So you're just surrendering all of that weight of the upper body, leaning that weight a little bit more forward into the balls of the feet, like you're peering over this little edge. Good. Inhale, let's lift up halfway, back flat, gaze down. Usually most people bring their fingertips to shins, but you don't have to. Exhale, release. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Little bend in the knees as you lift those arms all the way up overhead. Palms touch, press the hips forward, open up the heart, look up and back. Exhale, hands through heart center. Reach out. Inhale, we'll sweep the arms up. Exhale, big toes together, heels slightly apart. We're gonna come into chair pose. So it's exactly what it sounds like if you've never done chair before. We're just sinking those hips all the way back, like we're gonna sit in a chair. But we quickly find this, not there, right? But we're pretending it's there, using the strength of the legs. If you want, you can bring your hands to heart center if reaching your hands overhead is too much, okay? Take some breaths, maybe sink down a little bit lower. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, sink down low. Extra challenge, lift up onto the balls of the feet, lifting the heels off the mat. Exhale, heels down, straighten the legs, forward facing fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Bend the knees, plant the hands back to our first plank pose. Remember that hand position, wrists underneath the shoulders, spreading those fingers nice and wide. Squeeze the elbows right beside the body. If you need to, come to your knees. We're lowering all the way down, chaturanga. Inhale, pull the chest through, shoulders away from the ears, upward facing dog. Curl over the toes, lifting those hips, downward facing dog. Great job. Inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the right knee and stack the hips. So right hip comes up towards the ceiling. If you want, you can swing that right leg up and around a few times. Back to three-legged dog. Look between those hands. Right knee in between the hands. Try to step that right foot. Great. Left knee comes down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Now, make sure your knee and foot are spread enough apart that that right knee is not coming in front of that right ankle, okay? So if it's not doing that for you, just walk those right toes forward. Shoulders release, but arms can lift up overhead, or you can bring the fingertips behind the head, opening the heart up further by spreading those elbows apart. Great. 2 breaths. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands down. Straighten the right leg, right toes turn up. Try to keep that back flat. If you're finding it hard to reach the floor, I encourage you to maybe just go find a couple of books to put underneath your hands. If you happen to have yoga blocks, you could place those underneath your hands just to bring the floor a little bit closer to you. Because we're really trying to feel the stretch in the backside of that extended leg. The goal is not to hurt the lower back here. Great job. We'll bend back into that right knee, frame the foot with both hands. Inhale, left knee lifts. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, bend the knees, stack the hips. Draw some big hip circles on this side. Back to three-legged dog. Inhale, look between the hands. Exhale, use the strength of the core. Reach that chest up towards the sky and step the left foot between the hands. Great, right knee comes down. Inhale, arms lift up. Adjust your stance as you need to, maybe hands behind the head, elbows spread apart. 2 deep breaths as you look up and back. through center. Exhale, hands towards the mat. Straighten that left leg. As you're ready, bend back into the left knee, framing that foot, lifting the right leg off the mat, stepping back, downward facing dog. This time, slowly walk hands back towards the feet, forward facing fold at the back of your mat. Inhale, lifting up halfway, flat back. Exhale, releasing. Inhale, reverse swan dive, sweep the arms all the way up, take that little back bend if you'd like. And then hands through heart center. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Bending the knees enough to get the hands on the floor. You're walking your hands back out, coming all the way into plank. Great. From plank, of course, you can come to your knees if you need to. If you're okay here, try lifting up that right leg. And then you're going to bring that right knee towards that right tricep. See if you can make contact there, and then bring the right knee towards the right wrist. Lift it all the way back up to the tricep. Lower down to the wrist. All the way back up. Once more. Lower down to the wrist. All the way back up. Three-legged dog, right leg lifts up. Look between the hands. Right foot steps between the hands. Catch your breath. I know that wasn't an easy one. If it was, you might have not been doing it right. Okay? It's a challenge. From this position, you can come back to low lunge if you need to by dropping that left knee. Otherwise, I encourage you to try to keep that left leg lifted. Sweep the arms all the way up, high lunge. Great. From this position, we're going to rotate between a couple of poses. First one is we're going to inhale, lift forward. You're not resting on that right thigh, but you're reaching those arms out front. We'll come back through center. And then drop that back knee. And then we'll lift back up. So those are the movements. Reach forward, exhale. Inhale back through center. Exhale, drop. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Inhale, center. Exhale, drop. Inhale, lift. Two more. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. Inhale, up. One more. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. Inhale, back up. Bring the hands towards the floor. Step it back, downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths in down dog before we move into opposite side. Recollect your thoughts. As you're ready, inhale, come through plank. Modified for this series is just dropping to your knees and holding modified plank, okay? If you're ready, lift up that left leg and try to make contact left knee to left tricep. If you've got that, knee drops towards wrist, lift it all the way up. Use the core. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Once more, exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Three-legged dog, left toes lift up. Look between the hands, step that left foot. Great, right knee can come down if you need to. Otherwise, right knee stays up. Lift the arms up. Now, if your heart rate has gone up, if you started to break a sweat like I did, okay, that's all right. Just stay in there with it. So you think about our intention with building this courage and this type of resiliency. Sometimes that means that we have to keep moving, even when we're feeling tired and fatigued. But of course, if you need to take that rest, take that rest. As you're ready from this point, exhale, we're going to reach those arms forward, reach that chest forward. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, right knee taps down. Inhale, lift arms up. Exhale, reach forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, tap down. Great. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Inhale. Exhale, down. One more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tap down. Inhale, all the way up. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Deep breaths here in down dog, pedaling the feet out, getting that deeper stretch along the back sides of the legs. Catching your breath, coming back to that intention. Noticing your thoughts. Looking between the hands, walk, step, or jump, forward facing fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, reverse swan dive. If you want, take that little back bend, pressing those hips forward, and hands to your heart center. Great, take a moment here, press the thumbs against the center of the chest, close your eyes, root down, reach up through the forehead, through the crown of the head. If you need to let something go, let it go now. And we'll start moving again. Big inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, down, bend knees, plant hands, step back to plank. Lower chaturanga. Inhale into your version of a back bend. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts back up, three-legged dog. Exhale, similar to as we did before, come forward to plank, right knee meets that right tricep. From here, bring that right knee over towards the left tricep. Extend that right leg out long. Inhale, rotate that left heel down, that back heel down, and lift that left arm up. If that's not possible in your practice today, you can just bring the right knee down, coming into a side plank. But if you're in Fallen Star, just stay here in Fallen Star. Challenge to try to lift up that right leg, so that leg that's out front. Great, lower it. Left hand comes down, three-legged dog, right leg lifts back up. Look between the hands, right foot steps between the hands. Rotate that left heel down, and inhale, come up, warrior two. So just as a reminder, warrior two is a really wide stance. So feet aren't close together like this. You really want to get as wide as you can because you want to bend deeply into that right knee. Arms out to either side. Relax the shoulders. I can tell when I've been talking a lot because I start to lose my breath. That's always a reminder to stop talking so much, right? If you literally can't breathe. All right, so just taking that as a little mental note for myself. Bend deeply, right knee. Make sure you can still see those right big toes. Right palm flips up, inhale, reverse. Reach that right arm up and back. Back to warrior two. Then right forearm to that right thigh. Reach that left arm up and over. Back to warrior two. One more reverse. Making sure that right knee stays bent. Warrior two. An extended side angle. An extended side angle, we're trying to think about that stretch along the whole left side. So outside that left foot, all the way through those left fingertips. Back to warrior two. Cartwheel hands down. come back to a three-legged dog. Right leg lifts back up. From three-legged, you can bend that right knee and stack that right hip up towards the sky. You may want to stay here, or if you want to try something new, tapping into that courage, you're going to bring that right foot all the way behind you. Left heel spirals down. Right arm lifts up. So you're in like a little back bend here. Open up the heart. We come out of this the same way we came into it. Right hand comes back down. Right leg lifts back up. And then right foot meets the left, downward facing dog. Look between the hands. Walk, step, or jump. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Take a little back bend. And hands through heart center. Great job. So inhale, arms lift. Same thing, opposite side. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, bend knees, plant hands, back to plank. You can always skip the chaturanga if you want. Otherwise, lower down. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, shift that weight forward, plank. Bring that left knee to that left tricep. Shift that knee over towards the right side. Extend that left leg out long. Rotate the right heel down. Lift that right arm up. Again, other position, you're just bringing the left knee down for a variation of side plank. Okay? Wherever you're at, you're pressing the hips up. If you're feeling like, Emily, I need that extra challenge, then lift up the left leg. Good, right hand grounds back down, left leg lifts back up, three-legged dog. Exhale, look between the hands, step that left foot. Rotate the right heel down, inhale, open up, warrior two. Adjust your stance as you need to, bend deeply into that left leg. Shoulders release, arms parallel the side. And just check in, make sure that left heel is bisecting the middle of that right foot. Left palm flips up, inhale, reverse. Warrior two. Forearm to thigh, right arm reaches up and over. Great, warrior two. Focus on the stretch here, reverse. Warrior two. Extended side angle. Good, warrior two. Cartwheel hands down. And come back to downward facing dog. From down dog, we'll lift that left leg back up. We'll bend the left knee and stack the hips. You can stay here, or if you'd like to try, left foot comes behind you, right heel spirals down, left arm lifts up. Open up the heart towards the sky. Lift the hips up. Good, one more breath. And then left hand back down, left leg lifts back up. And then both feet down, both knees down, child's pose. Hips back towards the heels, forehead towards the floor. Take some breaths. This is an excellent time to roll around the wrists if you'd like. We did a lot on our hands just then. And as I said before, you know, all of us, we're going to lose our breath at some points. We're going to break a sweat at different points in our life, and that's not what we really need to get caught up on. What we need to get caught up on is our ability to find that rest more quickly. So noticing that we've lost our breath, noticing that we're feeling flustered or frustrated, and then just finding that ability to come back. And I think child's pose is a really excellent place for us to do that. Not hanging up on what's happened, but just trying to find a place of groundedness for moving forward. As you're ready, let's come back to tabletop position. Let's curl the toes, lift back up, downward facing dog. Look between the hands, walk, step, or jump. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Little back bend if you'd like. And hands through heart center. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, big toes together, heels slightly apart, back to chair pose. Good, hands to heart center. We're adding a twist to this chair. We're gonna try to bring that left elbow and hook it on the outside of the right knee. Once you've done that, make sure your knees are together and they're in line, so one's not coming in front of the other. And then from that twisted position, you can try to look over the right shoulder, drawing those hands closer and closer towards the heart. You want to try taking a little bit of a risk with me today. We'll keep the knees together and try to lift up the left foot. Great, left foot comes back down. Inhale, come through center, keeping those hips down low. Exhale, opposite side, right elbow to outside of the left knee. Hands draw towards the heart. Look over the left shoulder. Stay here working on cultivating that strength, or keep the knees together and try to lift up the right foot. Right foot comes down. Inhale, back through center. Arms lift up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Straighten the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Hands frame here at the top of your mat. You're just going to take a step back, a medium step back with that left leg. So right foot's out front, left foot behind. We're getting ready for triangle pose. Both heels grounded down. We can crawl our hands up that right leg. You want to think about that right foot being on the right side of a train track, left foot on the left side. Inhale, lengthen the spine, hands to the hips. Exhale, use the hands on the hips to guide that chest forward as you hinge forward. You might want to pause partway, that's perfectly fine. If you're feeling good, you can come all the way down further. And if that feels good, you can bring the hands towards the floor. Okay? If you're feeling good in your balance, maybe bring your hands to prayer. Ears meet the biceps. Make sure that left heel, that back heel is still grounded down. Great job. I think this pose is so deceiving. It looks a lot easier than I think it actually is, at least in my body. So if you want, we're going to come into a revolved pyramid pose. Left hand stays down. And we're going to reach that right arm up. So opening up the chest, twisting towards that front leg, right fingertips up towards the sky. Another excellent time to use a block or a few books if you have them nearby. Just placing that under the left hand can be helpful. Great, right hand comes back down. From this position, we're just gonna switch here. So bring that left foot to meet the right. Step the right foot back, coming into pyramid on the opposite side. Grounding both heels down. Let's walk the hands up that left leg. Now you don't have to do this step. I just find it helpful for alignment, especially through my spine. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, I use my hands to just guide my hips, hinging forward. Slight bend in my front knee. And then hands toward the floor. Maybe hands come together in a prayer position, trying to squeeze the biceps around the ears, tucking the chin towards the chest in this position. As you're ready, preparing for a revolved pyramid pose. Right hand either just on the mat or that supportive book or block. And then reach that left arm up. Being careful not to lift the right heel. Heel stays grounded down, but twist that upper body. And make sure there's energy through that top hand, so you're not just sinking down in that right hand, but you're lifting out through the left. Good, left hand comes back towards the floor. Right foot meets the left. And then come all the way down to find a seat. Once you're in your seat, we're gonna bring that right leg out in front of us. We're gonna take that left leg and we're gonna pretend like our left leg is like a little baby. I know it sounds super weird, but we're gonna rock our baby. Holding that left leg in. It's kind of nice. I find this to be extremely soothing, even though it looks kind of weird. This just helps us open up our left hip a little bit more. Because what we want to try to do is take that ankle and place it on top of the right knee, stacking shins on top of each other. You might find that your knee is lifted up pretty high, like mine is right now. And so you can bring like a towel or a blanket in between those for some extra support if you want. Or you can just let gravity do its work by slowly opening up the hip. So you want to lengthen the spine here and just practice sitting up nice and tall. If you find that your hips are really open and that knee immediately meets that foot, then you can begin to crawl the hands forward, dropping the forehead all the way down to the floor. But just know that wherever you're at is fine and that every day is different. Oftentimes, I find, at least for myself, my emotions impact my flexibility. If it's a really free and easy day, I'm usually more flexible than a day that's a little bit more stressful or, anxiety provoking. So be gentle and kind to yourself, aware of whatever you're going through. Patient with your body. Sometimes courage just means breathing through something difficult. Of course, you can stay here longer if you'd like. Practice this more in your own time, but for today, we're just going to release out of this pose. So slowly lifting that left leg off the right. Let's take a little bit of an extension, both legs out front, just shaking the mat a little bit. Feels kind of nice. Good, and then opposite side. So left shin comes down first. Try to get that shin pretty parallel to your top of the mat. Then take that right leg in both hands and just start to rock the baby. And of course, you can just stay here rocking if placing that ankle on the knee doesn't feel good. When and if you're ready, ankle meets the knee. You're trying to get those shins parallel to each other. Find that supporter in between the knee and the ankle if you need to. Lengthening through the spine first, even if that knee comes all the way to the foot. Always lengthen the spine first before you reach those hands forward and go a little bit deeper. So take your time. Go wherever you need to today. And slowly we'll come back out of this pose, lifting back up, bringing that right leg over, shaking both legs out. It's okay to just flop them around a little bit. Feels good on my ankles too. And then we'll extend the legs out long in front of us. And we're gonna bring those palms out, those arms out straight and long beside us. And we're just rolling down one vertebrae at a time. So we're coming down onto our backs. I say this often, but try to come down as slowly as possible because that signifies the type of control we have in our body and the ability to kind of use that resistance as building strength. So imagining each vertebrae releasing one at a time. All the way up to the cervical spine, to the head. Once you're there, let's draw the knees in, hug around the shins, and just really try to hug the knees in tight. If you're able, you can grab onto your elbows and just slightly sway from right to left, getting the whole spine flat on the floor. And then we'll release the grip around the shins, and we're going to cross that left leg over the right leg. Once you have that cross, arms out to either side, and we'll let the legs fall over to the right side as we look over the left shoulder. As you're ready, use the core to lift your legs back up. Reverse the cross, right leg comes over left. We'll look over that right shoulder and let the knees fall over towards the left side this time. And as you're ready, inhale, lift back through center. Grab onto the outsides of the feet, pulling the knees down towards the mat, heels up towards the sky. And again, you can rotate right and left. You can straighten the legs if you want, one or both at the same time. Take the next couple of moments here. I've built it into our class for any other postures or stretches that you'd like to take. If you want to take a back bend, such as bridge or wheel, you can take those. If you want to put a sweater on before Shavasana, a pair of socks. Anything that you need to do to feel complete in your practice, please feel free to do those things now. Taking really as much time as you need, but whenever you are ready, you can come into what's called Shavasana, our final place of rest. You can take that in any way that suits you, but traditionally it's taken with legs out long as you lay on your back, arms out beside your body and palms facing up. Eyes gently closed when you're ready. As we prepare for this time of rest and rejuvenation, feel your body on your mat. Trying to relax, not just in this physical sense, but Relaxing the mind, relaxing the emotions, giving yourself permission to just be here. Reminding ourselves that without taking a time to pause, there's no rhythm. Rhythm needs that break, that pause. We'll stay here for a few moments of silence, and then we'll end our class together. As you're ready, I invite you to take some deeper breaths, bringing your attention and your awareness back into your surroundings. And as you deepen the breath, bring some movements back to the body. You can start slow by wiggling the fingers and the toes, and then get a little bit wider in your movements, rolling around the joints. Finally, reaching the arms up overhead, taking a deep stretch. And then drawing knees in towards chest, giving yourself a hug before rolling to one side and just pausing there. Reflecting on your practice, maybe taking a time of gratitude. And then when you're ready, with as little effort as possible, just pushing your way up to find that comfortable seat that we started with. Keeping those eyes closed or just closing them again whenever you get there. We'll end and seal our time with each other with one more deep breath. Inhale, arms lift. Palms touch, and on the exhale, lowering the hands, letting them pause over the forehead. That reminder to have kind thoughts, to the mouth, gentle words, and to the heart, pure intentions. The light within me sees the light within each of you. Namaste.